Yeah, thanks for doing this today.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So with that, you're here as a representative to talk as well as a few other people about 5 Cent City. So for people who maybe just clicked because they might know you, or they might share the link, or they might have seen the thumbnail or title, what is it?
That's a good question. So when some people hear 5 Cent City, they talk about the event right away. I view it as more of a collective, and that's the word I like to use. We're a community, we're a group of people, who come together. At the end of the day, what it means to me is we are joined by pain and trauma. We've all experienced something, whether it's a loss of a loved one, whether we're there to support a loved one who lost a loved one, or someone who's going through it. You know, you meet people at the events who are still in active addiction, in active homelessness, grieving, whatever. We come and we turn that into something positive. We do that one day a year, but like importantly, 5 Cent City, to me, it's a community thing. Like it's not the event, it's the people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So with that, how did you kind of get introduced into the event?
Okay, so this is like the most... have you ever heard of synchronicity?
Yeah.
It was wild. So I was really good friends with Eric Marcus.
Okay.
People have probably mentioned him like a few times in the interviews. And I had actually spent the day with him and then heard he passed away the next day.
Oh, wow.
And like, it was just, I went for coffee with my cousin. She knew him. I was kind of going to vent and be like, what can we do to help him? Like, you know, he reached out and I felt bad, like I couldn't do anything. And she was like, oh man, like I'm not even in a place to talk about this right now. It's so sad. And like, you know, we were just having a conversation, not gossiping, but like, what can we do to support our homie?
Yeah.
And from there, we split off. We were having a coffee downtown at a local cafe, and I went and did my groceries, and I did not get to the checkout aisle before someone called me and told me that he had passed away. I literally, like, that was the only time, and like, I've lost so many people, but just the way that it lined up, I dropped my groceries. Like, the cashier had to help me, and I'm like, I'm normally, like, I'm pretty numb to that. So I go home, same cousin work, front desk at the YMCA. She's, like, up there in management now. And she gets a hold of me, like, right before the funeral. She's like, there's this guy here who wants to talk to you. He wants to know where Eric's parents live. And Christian was at the YMCA inquiring, so I let him know how to get a hold of Connie and Bear. And then we all met him at the funeral, like, everybody who didn't know him from childhood. And it just kind of developed from there. Like, it went from being, it's crazy because it's evolved so much over the years. Like, it's not what it was when it started at all. It's just this thing that keeps on changing. Like, it started as meetings at the library, the public library, and I think there was like maybe 6 or 7 of us who showed up, and not any of those people besides maybe me, Christian, and like 2 others are still actively involved in these events. Yeah. It just changed from there. So we did the plan for the first year event. We thought that was the only event that we were going to do. And then it just kept going.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you were kind of brought in like you were in the beginning. You were there for the first one.
Yeah. I didn't know what my role was. Yeah. So it's kind of like, it's wild. I was just talking about this yesterday, how it's kind of followed me through like the phases of my life. Like first year, didn't really know what my role was. Yeah. Wasn't too sure of myself. I was very nervous. Like, I was going to speak publicly and do a speech, and I was scared. I had no confidence, you know? And that was around the same time I didn't know, like, am I on the right track with my sobriety? Am I going to stay sober? Am I going to pass school? Am I going to get my degree? Like, so as the events evolved, I feel like I evolved with them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I've been there every year minus one, I think. But there was one year where I kind of lurked in the shadows, took some pictures, and went home.
Yeah. Still there.
Still there. That was my COVID year. That was my, like, lurking in the shadows year. You know what I mean? So the events did follow me. But yeah, like, it's wild. I've been there since the very beginning. Like,
how is it? Yeah, I was gonna say, let's touch more on that, on like the growth of the event. Like, how has it come from like the first beginning to kind of like where it's gonna be now? Like, what does that growth chart look like? Because you said it lines up with kind of like how you were, right? But what did the event like progression look like?
I think first year, like, most of us didn't know what to expect. You know, we're meeting in a library, we're talking about having an event, We were all firing off ideas. Everybody who was there had really different visions for what they thought we should do at the event, like regarding activities, or like I remember, how should the event be policed was a question.
Oh, that's a good question.
And I think that might have even lost some people, because we decided, you know, we're going to try to mediate the issues there on our own. Like, we're not going to have uniformed officers there. We're not going to take that approach.
Yeah.
So there were things like that, or like there were people whose like maybe their mental didn't align too much with like the harm reduction perspective, things like that kind of dropped out. And for first year, we didn't know what to expect. Like, it depends on the numbers and all these things for everybody. Christian had his vision, but he kind of kept that to himself. The rest of us didn't know what to expect, and then we seen like hundreds of people at the first event, and we thought that was our only event. Like, we weren't planning for more. We were all told one. That's it. So we leave thinking there's nothing else, and then a few months later it's like, hey guys, we're going to do another 5 Cent City, and we're all like, what? And after the second year, I find, is when it took off. And like, you really noticed during COVID, when we had to announce like, we're not going to do something right now, we're going to take some time and, you know, respect like public distancing and all that, everyone's health and safety. I had people messaging me that I never met before, being like, yo, what's going on with 5 Cent City? I was told to message you. I was told, you know, what's going to happen with 5 Cent City. Or I had people being like, are you serious? There's no event, man. What? And I'm like,
yeah, what can I do?
like, this is bigger than I thought that it would be, you know? And then at the last one, it was just like, that was overwhelming. Like, that was crazy. That was wild. Sick. I was seeing people there. Like, I had friends who were there doing things, and I didn't even know they were involved in the event until I got to the event. Like,
oh, wow.
Yeah, like, my friend Kate was the singer in that band that played at night. And I'm like, you're involved in this now? Like, this is wild. It's touched so many lives, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think what do you think it is to attribute that, that growth? Like, what made it take off? Like, what do you think that is? Like a series of things, or you think it was like one or two things that kind of...
That's a good one. I attribute that to what we don't have here. What we don't have. So you listen to the videos and you listen to the snippets that were taken and put in like all the promo and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In one of them you hear Killer Koganen say, we need more people like you. Yeah. Like, we need more things like this. We need more people like you. And then you hear Jordan, and like Jordan's been everywhere. You know what I mean? He's done tons of promotional stuff, whatever, on YouTube, and he's like, I've never experienced something like this. Yeah. And then I have people that are like, that's the only time of the year when I feel that vibe. Like, I can't even, it's not something I can visualize unless I'm visualizing the event, but it's like, for the whole day, I feel like I'm back in the 90s, like at a block party or something. But minus the fights, minus the drama, and I feel like there's a purpose to it. Like, so I think we lack that as a community. I don't know if you've ever seen research study on TED Talk. It got really famous for a while. It was like a rat park was what it was called. Did you see that doctor talk about rat park?
I like maybe gazed over it, but not enough to like, no.
Okay, that's cool. So we are not a rat park, and 5 Cent City is the rat park. So I'll brief it. It's like
yeah, please.
They put a bunch of rats, or a rat in a cage, I should say, and there's two options for water. One has literal cocaine in it, and one is just plain water. The rat's got no stimulus, nothing. He goes for the cocaine water, obviously. Yeah. He's bored. Yeah. You put the rat in a cage with a bunch of other rats, you give it like those little spinny wheels and toys, things to do, ramps to run on, and you put the same two water, and none of the rats ever go for the cocaine water. They don't want that. So we are the rats.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You see what I mean? Yeah. And like, I love the city for other reasons. Like, I've had to find ways to cope on my own, and I've had to find things to do by myself, but we are not a rat park. You know? And 5 Cent City is like a rat's paradise. It's like, there's so much to do. There's something for everyone now. So it's like, you know, I think that's what people lack. It's not just the music and the food. It's like, they lack that sense of community. Where else can you go for free, where you're going to see everybody that you haven't seen all year, and get to do all these things and listen to these speeches and like actually feel your grief and not feel judged for it? Like, you feel like that's why you're there, you know?
That's so cool. No, and I agree, and I think the role that it's such a pivotal role that this event plays, and I'm very intrigued to see kind of like it's cool. That's why I always like asking that question about like, tell me more about the growth. But what role do you think this, like an event like this, or this event specifically even, plays in the community, or like the importance of it?
That's a good question. I noticed that a lot of people have said it fills a gap.
Yeah.
Right.
Ooh.
It fills a gap. It fills a gap that's lacking. And like, hey, I've worked with services. We have great people working services. We've got people at the events that have like, they've got their history working in services as well. But it definitely provides like a space where it doesn't matter if you're like coming from the perspective of, say, being abstinence-based, harm reduction-based. It doesn't matter if you stand on your head and meditate and believe that everything happens for a reason, or if you're a total nihilist. You know, it doesn't matter if you believe in God, believe in Satan. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you're all there coming together for one purpose. There's no age limit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's no, you can't come here because of this.
Yeah.
I was really worried, like, the first year, because, like, I'm a skeptic, right? And I'm also, like, my brain is constantly working. So I was, like, asking myself, what role is this gonna play, like, in the community?
Yeah.
And I was afraid, because I was like, you know, as much as I'm for, like, not policing the event, or as much as I'm for accepting everybody, I was like, what if this pops off, like, in a negative way? What if something bad happens and we're liable? Like, I was asking all these questions. How is the public gonna receive it? Because you see the comments that people make about Sudbury on, like, Facebook, like Spotted in Sudbury and stuff. You see the judgment, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, not that I can't handle it, but I was like, what kind of reception are we gonna have, and what about the media? And it's been like really, really different than what I expected. Like, it's been received so positively, you know?
Yeah.
It's almost like, I don't want to gloat, but it's like, it seems like everybody likes it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it seems like that.
Everybody likes it. Like, the media is all over it. Like, all the people that have been there, I've never heard someone say, man, I had such a bad time at Sin City. Like, you know, there's no comments like bashing, because we're not out there doing any harm. We're not excluding anyone, right?
No, and I think there's something to be said about that too, but also the people that are involved, like the people from like kind of every walk of the community, right? And just kind of seeing how like they're taken back by this event, and like how it's included them and stuff like that. And I even felt this for myself, was feeling that sense of like, man, like this is really cool. Like, it's people are like genuinely like happy to be there, or like they get something out of it. And I think there is something to be said for the importance of an event like that.
Honestly, right? I feel that actually. You know, we've got politicians that show up.
Yeah.
And then you've got like your ununiformed cops that want to play basketball.
Yeah.
All that, but you're right next to the dude who didn't vote and says he doesn't care about politics, or, you know what I mean, the person who's afraid of cops or had bad interactions with the cops. And it's like,
can kind of see them in a different light,
right? But it's also like, for one day you're not a cop, for one day like your morals and values are still there, but like, for one day that's not you.
Clear that judgment and stuff.
Exactly. Or one day I'm not like a person without a home, an unhoused person, or I'm not addicted to this. Like, nobody's looking at that in a negative sense. No,
and I think it's also to the point of we're removing the generalization, right? It's like all police are bad. Yeah. It's like, well, I can name 5 that I'm friends with, but then I can also name a couple of friends. Yeah, or you don't know, right? So it's like, oh, this dad's playing basketball with the kids. Like, you don't know what he does. So it's like, it allows you to kind of like, everybody can like disassociate and kind of come together, which is really cool. Like, they almost like remove that layer of themselves, and then they're a bit more exposed to kind of like, hey, we're all more vulnerable, but we're all more vulnerable together. And then we get to participate in this thing, which is really cool.
It's like, we're all human.
Yeah.
That was, it's funny that I remember this, since I don't drink, but that was a beer commercial a while ago. I don't remember which one it was, but they put 2 people that are the complete opposite in a room over beer and like filmed the interaction, you know, and they saw how they got along just being human. And it's kind of like, that's what the event does for people minus the beer.
Yeah.
We put everyone in a room and we say, hey, like, we've all gone through trauma, we've all gone through grief, we've all experienced something bad.
Yeah.
Like, let's not hate each other over it, or like, let's not, I don't know, as a society I find like it's like one thing against the other, you know, one kind of pain versus the other. Why are we funding this and not funding this? And it's like, all of it matters though.
All of it, yeah.
Let's not get lost in the little, you know what I mean? Like the argument with like diabetes meds versus like antidepressants and addiction, and it's like, no, all of it should be covered. Everything. That's why we're all here. It's because we all have needs. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a lot to think about, eh?
Yeah, yeah, but I think the cool part about all that is like the event kind of just allows everybody to, I guess, like you said, be human.
Yeah.
Right. So I think what's cool though I like about this year is kind of like it's shown how it's developing with like a theme of resilience, right, and being able to show like this is where we once were, right? Because like you said, right, with how even you've developed in like you've been kind of with parallels to the event and how the event's grown, you've grown, right, and stuff like that. With the theme being resilience this year and stuff like that, I want you to kind of take me through how you've exemplified that in your life. And what I mean by that is if it's kind of like the question's a bit convoluted, can you describe to me like a time where you had to face challenges or adversity and stuff like that, and then how you were able to use your own resilience to overcome?
I can pick one of the handful. It's funny, all my friends are like, you're cursed. They're like, we know lots of people with pain and trauma, but you're cursed. Like, life just keeps like kind of kicking you, you know?
Yeah.
Probably one of the worst ones for me was my addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Like, alcohol was the worst for me. I've dabbled in everything, but alcohol was, holy man, I was like drinking at work, drinking out of flasks. Like I got kicked out of like every bar in Sudbury by 2015. I've walked into bars and been told like, no, like you don't remember what you did last night. Like,
oh wow,
we barred you. You have to sit down with the owner and talk about why. I got brought to court for stuff that happened when I was drunk. All that got dropped. But I also I was going through some pretty heavy shit at the time. Can I say shit?
Yeah, it's your episode.
Pretty heavy shit. I was going through some really bad abuse, and all my statements got thrown out because I was drunk. They got thrown out, and now the dude is on trial for allegedly burning down Ryan Heights and for murder, triple murder.
Oh wow!
All my statements got thrown out, so that weighed heavy on me because when I saw the news,
you're like,
I'm like,
prevented this.
Right, exactly. I'm like, if I wasn't drunk,
mm-hmm.
I know you're not supposed to think like that,
yeah.
but it's a fact that if I wasn't drunk, maybe it would have happened to somebody else, maybe he would have done it anyways, but it wouldn't have happened the way it happened because everything happens like in a sequence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether you eat eggs or Cheerios this morning is gonna affect your day. This is gonna affect the time it takes you to do something else and to leave the house and the route you take. So you know what I mean? Like that's how my mind works. So that was a low. I quit drinking after court. I didn't get a conditional sentence or anything. I got my charges dropped. I was lucky. The Crown overruled the judge and said, she was like, I never do this, but their court case is like a file like the height of her head.
Yeah.
I'm gonna overrule you. And and I walked in there by myself, like no lawyer, with my grandma. I was like, you know what? My grandma's a sweet lady. Yeah. And I was like, if I bring her to court,
maybe mom will help me out.
And she's crying. They'll take sympathy on me, and it worked.
Yeah.
So good. Just kidding. I'm actually innocent of what I was brought to court for. But
but
long story short, the judge did say we've got some recommendations, and if you want this to stop happening and you don't want this to be your life, you need to stop drinking. Look at all this paperwork that's garbage to the court because you were impaired. And so
that's huge.
Yeah.
Kind of takes you back.
Right? And instead of doing what you'd think most people's friends would do.
Yeah.
My friends left me alone in my addiction. I keep seeing these social media things that are like, I had the most friends when I was at the lowest point in my life. And I'm like, no, not me.
Yeah.
I had friends who didn't want to talk to me because I went back to my abuser. They took it personal. I had friends who were just like, you're fucked. I can't deal with you. And or they were going through their own stuff. So how I got through it was I had to be alone with myself, alone with the real me. Yeah. And at one point I was literally a shell of a human living in my first apartment. Yeah. Withdrawing from dope, trying to stay off alcohol, no friends, depressed. I hadn't eaten in so long. I think I was 95 pounds.
Dude, yeah.
And I'd been to the hospital back and forth, and I would just remember sitting there thinking I know this is lame, but I'm Tupac said for every dark night there's a bright day. No, literally. And I'm you know what? I'm every time I sleep and wake up, I feel 1% better the next day. It's not a lot, but it's 1%.
Yeah,
so I just kept going. I didn't cook for the longest time. I never made a meal in my first apartment. I was so depressed. My grandma would take me to the grocery store, and I would walk in, and because I was anxious, because I had done speed for a year and a half,
Jeez, yeah.
so that makes you,
you're wired.
Oh yeah, I walk in and the people are coming from all angles, and I'm all of a sudden I'm not high anymore because I'm with my family, right? And I would just leave my full grocery cart in the grocery store and walk out like this. Like I couldn't do anything, right? So resilience was me literally hitting like the fucking bottom. When I say the bottom, I emailed one of my teachers and I was like, listen, I can't come to your class. It's too early and I'm trying to quit drugs. And I know that I'll be on academic probation for this because like 3 classes and you're out. And fortunately, she was like, I don't view you that way. Submit your assignments. Thank you for your honesty. Bless you, Karen. She's actually passed away. But you know, like, so thankfully some people allowed me some grace. My family didn't really know the extent of what I was doing. And they're not going to find this podcast.
No, that's tough.
Just kidding. Even if they do, it's whatever. Yeah. It's water under the bridge because I'm sober now, right? But I had to go through it alone, broke, starving. Like, I had to literally be the quote. I had to, like, I had to sit at the bottom and I had to, like, face myself. And I just had to keep going. Sometimes people are so hopeless. Like, you talk to people, you know what I mean? Like, I talk to people all the time, even though I'm not working in my profession. People come to me, they know me from 5 Cent City or they know me from the street, from a past life, and they're like, I'm so hopeless. Like, I went through this, that, I lost everyone, I lost everything. And I'm like, you just keep going. Because if you stop, all you know for sure is that, like, you're not here anymore. That's all you know. You don't know if it could get better or if it could have gotten better, right? Right. It's a messed up mentality. Like, it's a weird thing that I have. Because, like, I just, it doesn't matter how bad it gets and how much I think, like, sometimes I've sat there and been like, I want to die, you know?
Yeah.
But I tell myself, like, don't do it. Like, you only have to do this once. Just keep going.
Yeah.
And every time I do that, it gets better until the next crisis hits. So.
Yeah.
Tried and true, you know?
Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's intense. Wow.
After the first event, actually, so the first event, my whole family pretty much came out to support, and my little cousin was there, and about 2 weeks later, he killed himself.
Wow.
Literally. And I've got, like, pictures of him at the event. He went with my grandma. It was like, fuck. Like, it was like I just went to this event. I just had this whole, like, community, you know, surround me, and we were all talking about healing and whatever. And after the first event, I thought it was over, remember? Because we didn't know there was going to be another one. So I'm, like, sitting there, like, fuck, man. Like, what do I do? You know? But I just did that thing. Like, I sat at the bottom by myself some more until I didn't feel like that anymore.
Jeez.
Like, right? It's crazy.
Yeah, how do you deal with that type of trauma? Like death of a loved one and stuff like that. Like, how do you go through that?
Man, like, your brain changes so much due to trauma.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I think, like, a lot of people don't know if they haven't been through trauma. And you're like, who hasn't been through trauma? But I'm like, there's people that don't attend these events that actually haven't been through trauma. Those people exist.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Lucky
now,
them.
could you define trauma? Like, in your own words?
Can I define trauma? Yeah. I would define trauma as a physiological and emotional reaction to pain and suffering.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Very textbook.
Yeah.
But
I like that. Simple.
Right?
Yeah.
It's more than pain, it's more than sad.
Yeah.
It's like when you got that feeling in your throat that's in your, like, heart. Sometimes you talk to people and they're like, I know that. I just swallowed my throat or whatever. That feeling. Yeah, it's crazy. And I've heard people say, like, no, I've never lost anyone. I'm lucky or whatever. And I'm like, dude, you've been to, like, 10 weddings since high school. I've been to, like, 40 funerals. What's up?
Whoa.
You know? But it's the demographic, too. You got people that are on the straight and narrow, rich parents, nice lives, never hung out with people that use drugs, you know? And then you've got the rest of us.
I think there's an important balance of being, and I don't want to say exposed to, but being educated about both sides, right? Of, like, I think there's almost something more impactful when somebody's gone through, like, a traumatic experience and they've managed to make something out of that. And I think that's what, like, bringing it back with this event is the coolest thing to me, because you see, like, tenfold examples, and it could be not even just all different groups of people who it's like, oh, a beat addiction, and then there's, like, that's 50 people speaking. It's like, actually, no, we have a few of them who have, but we also have, like, there's people who've, like, grown up in the hospital. There's people who've gone through these, like, you know, lost a child, due to overdose and stuff like that, or even just gotten through all that stuff, and then being able to see everybody kind of together and like see them, it allows them almost like they can almost trust in the group of people they're around, because they know majority of the people are able to relate, right? Because they've seen or been exposed or been educated on what like trauma is.
Right. And it's also shown them, like, I don't know, for me it was like, whoa, like other people can feel as bad as I feel, but for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Because, like, I never put myself in the position of someone who grew up in the hospital, for example, until 5 Cent City.
Right.
I met people who grew up in the hospital, but I never, I never got to know them. I never listened to them speak.
Yeah.
I never imagined what life would be like for me.
Mm-hmm.
So it does the same thing for addiction and suicide. It kind of opens you up to it. Because there are some people that are really closed-minded until they hear a speech or, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Talk to someone about that. You hear people all the time say things like suicide is selfish, or suicide is this, or committed suicide, or whatever. And then you talk about it as a group, and it's like their perspective changes.
Yeah.
And it's the same with addiction. Like, I've had so many people say, like, because I went to Catholic school,
Mm-hmm.
so I went to St. Francis, and I don't know, there might be some of people out there that also went to my school that have been through some stuff, but from when I was in grade school, like, I think only 2 of us had parents that were divorced.
Oh, wow.
During grade school. And then, like, maybe, like,
Yeah.
and, like, I mean, hey, I had a pretty modest life. It wasn't, like, we weren't poor, scrounging for anything, but, like, everybody else had birthdays at pools. You know what I mean? Everybody else went to Catholic school for high school, and it seems like a lot of them got married and whatever, like, you know what I mean? They make lots of money now, and I didn't see any of them around the streets when I was working in homelessness. I never encountered most of them while I was using.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like some people really do have more, like, I want to say sheltered, but also privileged lives.
Not privileged, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And being privileged is already, like, I mean, you're the privileged one, so you're, like, the cool guy with the advantage. So, like, 5 Cent City takes everybody else and, like, it makes them cool, too.
Yeah. It kind of it sheds that skin, right? It sheds that layer, and it kind of allows us to be more of ourselves, I guess, but also be like, hey, it's okay to, like, just kind of let go a bit and, like, trust in what this event is.
And, like, when I'm getting all geared up for the events and stuff like that, like, I don't know, I cry at the events.
Yeah.
I laugh at the events. I get mad at the events. Like, I experience, like, the whole spectrum of emotions on event day, but that's me.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I never rehearsed a speech before. This is the first year that I'm doing something that's, like, scripted. It's a little bit awkward for me, but, like, I'm so comfortable.
Scripted, or, like, what's the...
No, the speaking that we're doing, like, I don't know if you know what's going on or if it's a surprise, but, like, the way that things are structured is kind of more, like, not scripted, but we're writing our speeches, for sure.
Oh, okay, yeah. Makes
Whereas
sense.
I normally speak.
Yeah.
Like, I just go, like...
It's on the Saturday?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Normally, it's like, do you want to speak? Sure. And I stand there, and I'm like, blah, 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 blah. Here's what I went through this year. Here's what we all went through as a community. Like, let's have fun. But now I'm like...
Smart.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see how that goes. I've never shared my writing with anyone before, so it's kind of like...
interesting.
Yeah, and I love writing.
Yeah.
But it's a thing for me where I write, I throw it out. I write, I save it in a notepad. I don't share it with anyone. So, again, I'm being myself in a different way at the event, I guess. It's allowing me space for that. And, like, I'm not even halfway done, and I'm not nervous. Because I'm like, it's in front of the community. I don't care if they say there's 10 people or there's 10,000 people. I'm like, it's 5 Cent City. I'm fine.
Yeah,
you know?
comfortable.
Yeah.
In your element more so, yeah.
Exactly. That's what I feel like is the theme of, like, even our discussion, right? It's about a vibe. Mm-hmm. Like, it really is. It's about a, like, trusting, like, community vibe. And,
I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah. Kathleen, how would you say that, like, we've touched on a bit, but I want to peel this back a bit. How would you say that the event, like, just the event itself has impacted, like, you specifically? Not just so much the community.
Oh, me specifically.
Yeah. Because you've been a part of it for the longest of the people I've kind of...
Yeah, that's funny.
On, so.
I actually mentioned this to Christian yesterday. I sent him a text and I was like, it's funny, like, how the event kind of mirrors the phases in my life, but also, like, I wish we had done this first year so you could see the difference.
Yeah,
because
sick.
I would have been sitting here, like, I wouldn't have known what to say. I would have kept asking you to, like, pause. I wouldn't be able to look you in the eye. Like, I've just changed a lot.
Oh, wow.
I was
There's, like, a body language wouldn't be there, right?
I wasn't open about my
More
addiction.
shelled. Okay.
I didn't talk about abuse publicly really before. Like, I would post things and then I would take them down. I would get embarrassed about, like, I guess, admitting to vulnerability.
Yeah.
So the event really opened me up to that. I wasn't going to go to school for my master's until, like, the event. And then after the event and realizing, like, I don't know, just talking to people in the community and realizing that, like, I had the confidence to speak publicly, which you need to be able to do that in the social work program, but especially for a master's. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not going to get accepted into the master's if you're not a confident speaker. So, like, all the confidence that came after the first year and after going through that trauma and, like, having the community to support me, I feel like it really pushed me. Like, it pushed me to keep being better. Yeah. I feel like if I didn't have 5 Cent City, I might have relapsed and I might be like, I don't know. I told Christian, I'm like, sometimes when I was really down, I was like, I have to stay here. I have to, like, sleep until it gets better. I have to be there for 5 Cent City. I'm like, I'm going to make the community better, but they're going to help me get better too, right? So it's just the whole thing changed me. It's not just the people I've met. A lot of it is the people I've met, though, because they've literally been there through every crisis.
Wow.
Like, last minute, Christian, last time he pulled up into town with a Hope is Medicine sweater for me and some little gifts when I was, like, bawling my eyes out, going through some stuff in my apartment. And it was like, that's all it took for me to have the reminder. I'm like, yeah, 5 Cent City's there. Like, the community's got me. Like, I never have nobody like I used to.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
When I said I went through it before and, like, all my friends backed out on me, I don't have that anymore. I don't talk to those people anymore. I don't have friends that would back out on me. I have, like, the 5 Cent City community. So it's like, my confidence has changed. I feel like I don't have to be, like, my professional self to be making a difference. I feel like I don't have to be, like, working in my field and, you know what I mean? Like, this agency, that agency. I'm Kathleen and I care about people and, like, I can make a difference that way. Being real.
Yeah.
You know?
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
It's changed me a lot. Like, even, like, first year, like, all my apprehensions. Like, I was like, what if it rains? What if there's 10 people? I was so worried about the event because I had no idea what to expect.
Yeah.
But I also had that doubt, like, with regard to, like, my trust in other people, right? Like, I was really disconnected to people back then.
Yeah, but you had every right to be.
Right.
Because you had only known that.
And I had just been sheltered for so long with my addiction. And now it's like I've seen these events grow, like, like, consistently every year I've seen the community come together. Like, no one's ever, like, let me down in that regard. My family's there for every event, like, there to cheer me on and hear my speech. Like, you know what I mean? Everybody's there helping each other. Like, it's a really beautiful thing. Like, you've got this person has beef with that person and they don't like that person, but for event day, like, they just forget about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's changed my perspective on people, I think, too. Like, I was a lot more negative 5 years ago. If you'd ask me, like, how's your day today? You wouldn't ever got great.
Yeah.
And now sometimes, like, and I had, like, you know, I was not nice to my family all the time. Like, my mom would talk to me and I'd be just grouchy. Like, I was just not me. I was just not myself. I was still that shell of a person. And now it's like, everything's changed. Like, sometimes, like, my family's like, how's it going? And I'm like, great. And they just sit there like grandma's driving, grandpa's in the car, it's all quiet. And it's like, did she just say great? And that's it? Like, what? Like, what? You're almost done therapy? Really? What? You're not depressed anymore? It's like, God, dude. So much has changed. Yeah.
Oh. What can people have to look forward to for this year that they may have not been able to in the years before?
I feel like this year is going to be definitely our biggest year. Yeah, the reception is crazy. I know we've got a lot of surprises planned. I won't spoil them, but I know surprise performances. I know that the speeches they're going to be different this year. I won't say what the theme is in case people don't already know. But there is a theme this year to the speeches. So it's not going to be people shooting from the hip. It's definitely going to be different, more cohesive. There's a definite, like, resiliency undertone. And I feel like everyone's coming with more energy. Because we're like, this is the 5th event for the 5th year. This is possibly, like, well, this is the final year. So I feel like it's just going to be wild. It's going to be live. But
Sick.
I feel like I was thinking about it the other day and I was like, I'm going to be sad. Like, I know I'm going to cry. I know I'm going to cry on the pavement because I don't like endings. Like, I get sad. I'm sentimental. Like, I'm going to miss, like, seeing the basketball nets and whatever. But I feel like this is the beginning of something new, right? Like, we talked about how 5 Cent City is both, like, an event, but also a community.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is it, like, leaving the event stage. And now it's like, boom, what are you guys going to do with it?
Yeah.
Because now, like, it's been 5 years of this. You know what I mean? And people are going to be missing the vibe. Like, they're going to be like, damn, we have no 5 Cent City. What are we going to do? We've all got to get together somehow, right? So I feel like maybe it'll change things.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was thinking it may be like, you know what? There's so much media coverage. The media is going to be asking what's next.
Yeah.
And people are going to be telling them, you know, get out there and vote, look into policy. It doesn't always have to be like sit at the boring city council meetings, but like speak up. What do you want as a community? How can you make that happen? Or like what can you do that's out of the box to like bring that event feeling back? Can we have a block party? Like can we I don't know, can we start like talking more openly about these things? You're not going to see that person at the event again next year, so are you going to check for them more often? Like I feel like those are discussions that we're going to be having.
Yeah.
I know that the
Important
people
ones.
involved in this aren't just going to leave it. They're
Oh,
not
God,
just
no.
going to say bye. None of us. We're all going to be like, okay,
Yeah.
you know, this is it for this for now, but it's going to branch off. It's going to evolve again.
Yeah. I think so.
I feel like maybe it'll be the start of something new. I don't know what, but
Oh, that'd be cool.
I don't know what, but I'm
sure you're
excited.
right.
I know like I have a gut feeling. Like when Christian said at the end of the first event, he's like, oh, like, yeah, that's it and whatever. And everybody was like, we're not doing a second event. Like my body was like, there's going to be a second event.
Yeah.
And like even when my cousin passed, I was like, there's going to be a second event. Like Christian's going to like message me soon and be like, hey, so like year 2.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's not going to be, you know what I mean? Like the
Yeah, there
annual
will be
thing,
something.
but there'll be something. This won't be like, it's not going to be like, goodbye everyone, you're on your own. No
Yeah.
way. No way.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, Kathleen, I'm very happy you were able to talk with me today. I really appreciate everything you had to share and for sharing all that with me and trusting me to share all that. So thank you very much. I appreciate you doing this. You haven't done this.
Thank you for giving me a voice.